The Prodigal Son, a timeless story. Imagine a young man in our times. He lives in a stable home, has everything he needs, but the desire to explore the world is great. He looks out and wonders, am I missing something? He believes there is something better out there, something his father cannot offer. So, he decides to ask for his share of the inheritance and leave, seeking pleasure and freedom. This story may seem distant, written almost 2,000 years ago, but believe me, it is as current as any news today. You might even think, what does the Bible have to do with today's world? The answer is simple: everything. In Luke 15:11-32, we find the account of the prodigal son, a story that could very well be that of any modern young person who exchanges the stability of home for a life full of empty promises. The young man sets out to experience the pleasures of the world. He thinks he has everything in his hands: money, freedom, friends, parties. Everything seems perfect. He gets involved in parties, drugs, prostitution. He lives like many of our famous idols today, who achieve fame and fortune only to then fall into ruin, losing everything they had. Think how many artists, entrepreneurs, or influencers have already gone through this. The path of indulgence is seductive, but also cruel. For the young man in our story, the end comes quickly. The money runs out, friends disappear, and he finds himself completely alone. In a moment of desperation, he does the unthinkable. He goes to work feeding pigs, even desiring to eat their food, because he has nothing left. Imagine the anguish. The one who had everything is now at rock bottom. If you have ever felt this way, lost, hopeless, you know what we are talking about. Perhaps the shame of failing, of making mistakes, consumes him and makes him think that he can no longer return to his family, that he can no longer return to God. But it is precisely at this point that he remembers his father. The pain, the loneliness, the emptiness, all this makes him reflect. How many sons and daughters are in this situation today, trapped in addictions, destructive relationships, or a relentless pursuit of something that never fills? The young man decides to return. He does not expect to be received as a son. He only wants a place as a servant. He is ashamed, humiliated. But this is his only chance of survival. He rehearses the speech in his mind. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. This moment of decision is crucial because it is the point at which he admits his mistakes and decides to change. And how many of us, when we reach this point, are paralyzed by the fear of rejection? But the father's reaction is surprising. Seeing him from afar, the father runs towards him. He does not wait for apologies. He does not demand justifications. He just hugs him. The emotion of this moment is strong. The father who seemed distant all the time was actually just waiting for that sign of repentance. For him, the son never ceased to be a son. The father orders the best clothes to be brought, puts a ring on his son's finger, and organizes a party. Because, for the father, his son who was dead has come back to life. He who was lost has been found. Now, stop for a moment and reflect. What if you are that son? You who have sought in so many places, so many things, something to fill the void within you. Perhaps you have lost yourself in temporary pleasures, in tortuous paths, and now you are feeling ashamed, afraid to return. But the Father, Christ, is waiting for you with open arms. He is not far away. He does not want to know about your mistakes to judge you. He wants to welcome you because his love was never conditioned on what you do or don't do. If you are like this, feeling like this lost son, empty, thinking you had everything and now have nothing, ashamed to return to the Father's house? Remember, Christ is all you need today. He waits for you with open arms. Come home, my brother. The Father is waiting for you. No matter how far you have gone, how low you have fallen, there is always a way back. And that way is made of forgiveness, love, and hope. Luke 15:11-32 shows us this powerful truth, a story from 2,000 years ago, but as relevant and necessary today as ever. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Return to the Father's arms while He is still waiting for you,